to order. If you'll all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I cannot tell you what a thrill it is to look out and see more people in the audience than on the podium. Sadly, I think a lot of you are going to be leaving soon, but we're really glad to have you for the time you're here.
Most of those seats haven't even been set in yet. So.
That's exactly right. You are the first one probably to sit in your seat tonight.
I was going to ask if we could change the agenda a little and move the presentation to the end.
Yeah, that sounds like an idea. All right, the first item on tonight's agenda is the consent agenda. This is a group of items to be acted upon with a single motion and vote. It's intended to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by council. I will ask if a citizen or a council member wishes to have any specific item removed from the consent agenda, and at that time, someone can say yes, and we will set it aside prior to the council's vote. The items on tonight's consent agenda are approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes of November the 28th, 2017, approval of the expenditure vouchers for December the 12th, 2017, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license for Lazza Pasta, approval of a renewal 3.2% beer retail liquor license for Walmart, approval of a renewal hotel and restaurant liquor license and change of trade name for El Burro Pancho, approval of a renewal 3.2% beer retail liquor license for Safeway, approval of a retail liquor store license and tasting permit for West Slope Liquor. Sounds like, oh, we haven't done a liquor stores. Anyway, is there any item on the consent agenda that anyone would like to see removed? Council? All right, in that case, may I have a motion?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the addition of $151,007.36.
Second. Archbeck?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
McLaughlin?
Aye.
Sheedy?
Aye. All right, the next item is presentations, and this is one of my favorite things to get to do every year, and that is for council to be able to have a little bit of time to recognize those employees that have been with the city for a period of time. We've got people that have been with the city ranging from 30 years to 5, and since the strength of any organization is the people that work in it, it's really nice to be able to recognize these milestones for our employees. So I'm going to ask council, we're all going to come down onto the floor and we're going to recognize each block and present you with a little token of the city's appreciation for your service.
30 years, that's how old I am.
Times.
You've been here 5 years? That's pretty long for you, isn't it? It's a record? She doesn't know me, does she?
Those employees are very black, who I understand is not a good receiving. Lori Lori Johnson has been really sitting for 20 years. She's sick. Lori Ann Pope. And Mayor and Martha Robinson. Martha's not here.
Just get started over now.
For 15 years, Eddie Fonda. 10 years, MJ.
You're on the second row. There you go.
Judge Rice. Brad Harrison. Shay already, I think, is not able to be here tonight, so you guys would like to recognize him. Sean from Canada.
Yay!
5 years of service for the neighborhood.
Are you gonna spread all my? You're gonna take up my spot too.
Yeah, I really, yeah, I just think that's really
Congratulations.
You're gonna miss the best part.
showing up before.
You probably put a curse on it.
Oh, my.
It's cool enough outside right now.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. We actually have some citizens left. It's, at this time in our meeting, citizens have the opportunity to step up and address council on any items that are not currently on the agenda. So if there's any citizen at this time that would like to address council, now's your chance. All right, you'll get an opportunity one more time before we close.
We're out of jackets.
Yeah, no more jackets.
Yeah, there's still a whole pile there.
Yeah. Public hearings, we've got several public hearings, Resolution 31, Series 2017, on the Morningside Track A. Nita.
Okay. Good evening. The city of Cortez has received an application from Gerald and Donna Tanner for a minor subdivision at 1794 East Empire. This lot is in the Morningside subdivision, Tract A. At some point, Tract A was illegally subdivided into several lots, most of which have been developed. However, Lot A3 is currently undeveloped. The minor subdivision process will legalize this lot, allowing the lot to be developed with a single-family residence. The lot zoned R1 and is just under 18,000 square feet. The surrounding properties are single-family residences. So basically, this application is just to take a lot that fills all the parameters of our land use code and legalize it. There were several comments by staff, most of which had to do with when the lot actually is developed with a home. At this point, the landowners are not proposing to develop with a house at this point, and all of the staff comments can be resolved at the building permit process. So staff does recommend approval of this minor subdivision. I can answer any questions that you may have.
Does anyone in council have any questions on this?
I have none. Eva, thank you.
All right, so at this point, I'm going to open it up for public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to speak for or against this? And I know the Tanners are here tonight. Is there something else in addition that you think council should know? That is... the wheels of government grind slowly. All right. Seeing no one step forward, I'm going to close the public hearing. Are there any other questions or comments from council? Then, may I have a motion?
I make a motion approving resolution number 31, series 2017, approving lot A-3 on the Morningside Tract, a minor subdivision submitted by the owners Gerald Leon and Donna K. Tanner with 2 conditions.
A second?
Lucero.
Aye.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Archibek.
Aye.
Sheep.
Aye. Okay. Thanks. Ordinance number 1234, Series 2017. Kathy?
This ordinance is a revision ordinance to our 2017 budget. After we revised and went through and looked at everything, the total of our funds is $881,786 less than what we had originally budgeted. Most of these are carryovers of capital projects that will go into 2018, or minor adjustments for things that came across through the year, things like that. And this is the second reading on this.
Anybody on council have questions?
I don't have any.
And I will open it for public hearing. Well, do we need to open this to public on this one? For public hearing, if anybody would like to speak for or against this adjustment. Okay. Public hearing is closed. Any further comments? Then may I have a motion, please?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1234, Series 2017, on second reading, appropriating supplemental funds, rectifying budgeted excesses, and making budget revisions to the 2017 budget.
Second.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Archibek.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Sheep.
Aye. All right, the next item is ordinance number 1235, Series 2017. Kathy Moss, the budget.
This is the ordinance that sets our 2018 budget, and it also sets our mill levy for 2018. This budget process takes quite a while. The budget documents went to department heads in July. In October, Shane and I took a look at it. We met with department heads. We made some adjustments here or there. And then it did go to council also in October, and we held meetings since that time, budget meetings with the department heads and council for every council meeting or budget workshop since then. As you can notice, the ordinance that you have in front of you was amended, excuse me, was amended due to, at our first reading, we had budget hearings that night, and there were some adjustments made. So we did make some adjustments in that. Excuse me. Our mill levy is 1.21. We have to take the lowest of three mill levies: Tabor, the city charter, and the state statutory. I hope nobody gets this. That made a total, after we made those adjustments, of $32,276,181. I've got some.
Now you have some more.
Something's choking you on this budget.
No, I've got a cold. Okay. Shane, can you explain on your budget message? Quit coughing.
I'm sorry, I don't understand your comment. No.
I'm going to step outside a minute.
Okay, well, I think she's already explained you. We've already done one reading on this based on the last kind of minute input from council and some of the changes that came out of our last workshop. That's why you see the structure in the general fund. We ended up lowering the appropriation a little bit just based on some of those requests that have been there for council's discussion. I can answer any other questions you may have, but I think we've, covered it pretty well at the last meeting.
Sure. I don't have any questions.
Anyone? Okay. Then I will open it for public hearing. Would any citizen like to make a comment regarding the budget? All right. Close the public hearing. If there are no other questions or comments by council, may I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to approve on second reading ordinance number 1235, Series 2017, as amended, appropriating 2018 expenditures, setting the mill levy for 2018.
Second.
Carlson.
Aye.
Archibek.
Aye.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Sheep.
Aye. I'd just like to take a minute to express my appreciation. As was mentioned earlier, the budget is a very time-consuming task that takes place over a period of many months. It requires the dedication and the hard work of all the department heads, as well as a lot of their supporting staff in getting it done, plus strong leadership from our finance director, Kathy Moss, and from Shane Hale, our city manager. So I'd really like to thank them for presenting us with a budget that's manageable, but at the same time allows us to be able to move forward, getting some things done in our city. So thank you guys.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, we have no unfinished business, so moving on to new business. Appointments to the Public Art Advisory Committee. Eric.
Thank you. So tonight is the night we get to appoint people to our Public Arts Committee. It's pretty exciting for me. It's been quite a process. We had 8 applicants all present at the workshop earlier this evening, and they also submitted applications, and you have, right in front of me, voted to approve the members who applied, and then we did a random draw for the terms. So I'll announce the terms, I guess, in order. Sonia Horoshko and Heidi Brugger both will serve 3-year terms. Brandon Schubert and Aaron LeMay will both serve 2-year terms. Kirby Vaughn and Dan Simplicio will serve 1-year terms, and then our student Corinne DeMoore will also serve a 1-year term.
All right, great.
So, Your Honor, we need a motion from council?
Yes, I was getting ready to do that. If there aren't any comments or questions of Eric, would somebody make a motion of approval of these positions?
Madam Mayor, I would like to make the motion to approve the 7 members to the Public Art Advisory Committee.
Second.
Archibald?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Lucero?
Aye.
McLaughlin?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
Sheik?
Aye. Well, congratulations. Now you guys can get to work.
Thank you, yes.
All righty, thanks. All right, the next item is Resolution 36, Series 2017. No. It is ordinance, hang on just a second here. All right, I found my way. It's ordinance number 1233, Series 2017. Neva.
All right. This is the first reading of ordinance number 1233, Series 2017. Chris and Lori Hutton have applied to the city to rezone their parcel located on the northeast corner of Mildred and Empire. It's addressed as 1002 East Empire Street. The parcel is just under half an acre and is currently vacant. The zoning is multifamily residential, R2, and the applicants wish to have the zoning of neighborhood business. The applicants have proposed to establish a small coffee shop, farmer's market, and greenhouse on the parcel. The current land use code does not allow for restaurants or markets in R2. These uses would fit under neighborhood commercial, which would be allowed in neighborhood business zoning. The surrounding uses in the vicinity include residential to the east and north, parks to the south, Osprey headquarters, and the old Montezuma Courts building to the west. Directly west of the parcel is a vacant lot in the Montezuma County PUD. There have been no uses proposed. However, the PUD specifies uses for development by the city for business offices, high-tech businesses, conference facilities, or government facilities. So I know this isn't a public hearing. I'm just trying to give you enough information that you can decide to move forward or not. So according to the Land Use Code, rezonings can only be considered if one or more of the following standards are held to apply to the request. And I did go over in the staff report several of these. The area for which the rezoning is requested has changed or is changing to such a degree that it may be in the public interest to encourage redevelopment of the area. So I think with that, I can answer any questions you may have about this going forward, or we can save it till the second reading of the ordinance. I'm not sure how this works. Sorry, this is my first one.
Are they planning on building a fixed structure, or are they planning on, is it going to be like a food cart, or?
Well, currently it is, there's a food cart
Sure.
there, but I do believe that Coffee shop would be a fixed structure on site.
How about access to fiber? Does it run to that corner? It does, doesn't it? So, well, it's on the other side, but it runs across.
We definitely have fiber that runs alongside there.
Water?
Right. There's fiber, there's water, there's power.
What's it tapped for? What size?
Oh, well, they may not have a water tap. I think they just have water available.
Okay.
I don't know that the lot has an actual water tap, but it's just available there.
Neva, how might this affect traffic at that intersection there?
Traffic would be a concern, and there would have to be some sort of traffic study done once a development is proposed, and that would come in the site plan review. There is an access off of Empire and an access off of Mildred. So there is some potential to do some maneuvering. But hopefully this would be something that people would tend to walk to, either from the park doing their walks, or from Osprey or the hospital, or even the adjacent neighborhoods, and whatever might come into the courts building. But traffic would be a concern, and that's something that would be addressed by our Public Works Department.
What does a traffic study entail at a four-way stop like that?
Well, it would be based on potential business use and, proximity to the intersection itself.
Okay.
And that would be required.
Do you study it for like a week's period of time?
Well, we have the traffic numbers to Mountain County towns.
Oh, okay.
See that counts in the area.
At different times of the year, you can see when traffic flows the heaviest.
Sure, and then wherever the proposal should be, there would be
Okay.
an allocated number for that use.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other questions, council?
I don't have any.
Then may I have a motion?
I make a motion approving the first reading and set a public hearing for January 9th, 2018. Ordinance 1233, Series 2017. Approving the ordinance to rezone Lot 1 to 5 on the west, 17.2 feet of Lot 6, coordinate subdivision, address 1002 East Empire Street, from multifamily residence to neighborhood business, and set a public hearing for January 9th, 2018.
Second.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Archibald.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Sheedy.
Aye. All right, resolution number 36, series 2017, Chris Burkett.
Good evening. I'm going to stand over on this side so you don't get a crick in your neck just looking to the left.
We'll balance it out.
Here we are again. The Historic Preservation Board is asking to apply for a grant for permission. And one of the things that is required by the State Historic Society is that a resolution be passed. That way, when the application goes in, they're certainly aware then that the town board and town councils have approved and know that the groups are applying for a grant, so it doesn't come as a surprise. What they are applying for this time around is, rather than doing the survey as we've been doing and have received $89,000 for over the past 5 years, is to begin moving into the 21st century and to develop some podcasts that would go over the city's website and air and through Mesa Bird Country. This would allow for 2 podcasts and the development of 750 table tents that would go into motels and restaurants for this podcast. To help advertise the podcast, we will go to something available with more information about the community. The podcasts are based on walking tours that have already been previously designed and done, I believe, in 2010 and 11. The cost of the proposal is $6,715 and no charge to the city of Cortez. So it's a straight up grant application and opportunity for the city to do some additional things that have not been done.
This expands on the podcast that Mesa Verde Country already had done. is this just building on that, or is
This
this?
is building on the one
Okay.
that they already have,
Yeah.
so it would be in addition to, so people would have additional things to do.
But will it
And-
focus primarily within the city limits?
Correct.
Okay.
And hopefully, what this would lead to is the development of other ones, other than just dealing with historic preservation as they pertain to the walking tours.
Okay. All right, does anybody on council have any questions about this?
Chris, is there a possibility they could only receive partial on this grant, or is it all or nothing?
It's all or nothing.
Okay. That's all I have.
All right, if there are no other questions, can I have a motion, please?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 36, series 2017, supporting a grant application to Colorado Historical Society, Colorado, for the purpose of converting the current walking tour brochures of Montezuma Avenue and Ash and First Streets to podcasts and producing counter cards to publicize the podcasts.
Second?
Keel.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Archibald.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Resolution 35, Series 2017, setting fees for the rec center in the park.
Good evening. I'm going to follow my predecessor up here, so on this side. So the Cortez City Council sets fees and charges for the Parks and Recreation Department facilities, services, and programs in keeping with the philosophy established by council that certain facilities, services, and programs should either be self-sufficient or a percentage of self-sufficient. The following fees and charges are being proposed. Attached are the fees and charges which have been reviewed and recommended by the Parks and Rec Advisory Board as well as the Golf Advisory Board via email. The Cortez Recreation Center will forego any fee increases this next year, as we have been diligent with fee increases within the last several years. You'll also note in the highlighted section that we are adding to the annual passes on the fitness classes, barring the Silver Sneakers classes and the Silver Sneakers annual pass holders. And I think we discussed this at one of the council work sessions. The Conquistador Golf Course has continued seeing improved course play and undergoing major improvements throughout the golf course with sand bunker and green and tee box renovations from recommendations by the Greens Committee implementing the golf course master plan. With these major improvements needing additional funds, keeping up with inflation of additional staff costs and increased expenditure costs and capital replacement of several key pieces of equipment, staff is recommending raising the season ticket 9-hole fee by $1 and lowering the base fee by $50, and season passes and the cart registration fee will be increased by 10 to 15%. These fee increases are projected to bring in an additional $30,000 to help offset the additional expenditures and maintain a high 50 to low 60% cost recovery rate at the golf course and work toward increasing the future cost recovery rate. A payment plan for pass holders is being continued this year to provide flexibility of season passes being paid by June 30th, 2018. Staff is also recommending an increase for the outdoor pool rental for private parties by $25 and covering all of our staff costs and overhead during that time. Staff is adding a price range to the playground days and after-school programs if prices need to be increased due to higher staffing costs, and establishing an adult soccer league fee of $175 per team. So that's, in a nutshell, what we're asking or doing for any of our increases. Any questions?
I guess the only question that I have was the fact that it looks like on the rec center fees, the annual passes, people who participate in the Silver Sneakers classes will continue to pay for those, or I know the insurance. I know insurance pays for a lot
Right,
of them.
insurance, or, yeah, some do actually pay, I mean, and don't
But
have
those
their
people that are paying now, because their insurance doesn't cover it, they will continue to pay for those classes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and Your Honor, that's because we can offer the discounts on January 1st because all the fitness instructors are the cities.
Right.
And so it's value added. Silver Sneakers is a different contract that we have.
Oh, okay.
And so we're just with that contract, we're not able to do that.
Okay.
Right in that contract, you specifically list what you offer from your facility.
Okay. All right. Does any other council member have a question about any of these?
I don't have any.
Nope.
Okay.
Straightforward, thanks, Steve.
All right, may I have a motion, please?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 35, series 2017, setting the fees and charges for the Cortez Parks and Rec facility, programs, and services offered by the city of Cortez.
Second.
Lucero,
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Carlson,
Aye.
Archbeck,
Aye.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. Thanks, Dean.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dean.
All right, Resolution 37, Series 2017. Phil, the Water
Good
Department.
evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council.
Yes, Phil.
I'm here to talk about setting fees for our department in Public Works. As you're aware, we provide copies of maps, digital data on disk, permitting, and also various services. We're only proposing to increase the fees on two of our services, one being the flatbed truck rental, and we're going to be proposing to increase that from $65 to $70, and that's just to cover the cost for increase in tipping fees. That's a service we provide our residents where we drop off a flatbed at their residence, they load it up with materials, and then we haul it to the landfill and dispose of it for them. And the other fee, again, is cost-driven, and that's for the patchback fee. Basically, if there's a road cut in the street done for a resident's sewer, water, etc., we'll provide the patchback services. And we're proposing a 15% increase in that just to cover the cost of increased asphalt costs. Other than that, we're not proposing any other changes to our fee structure at all. So Public Works recommends approval of Council Resolution number 37, Series 2017. If Council agrees with staff, Council can make a motion to approve said resolution, setting fees and charges for Public Works services and materials to be effective January 1st, 2018.
All right, are there any questions, Council?
I don't have any.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 37, Series 2017, setting fees and charges for the Public Works services and materials to be effective January 1, 2018.
A second.
Second.
Archbeck,
Aye.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Lucero,
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. All right, Resolution 33, Series 2017. Refuse collection.
Yes, madam.
Mr. Johnson?
This is a follow-up on our budget hearings with regards to the fees for the refuse collection system. This enterprise is solely sourced, funded by our revenues from the users, and we're proposing a 5% increase for our residential and commercial rates. This would increase the monthly cost to a residence from $20 to $21 a month for a once-a-week pickup, and then also an in-kind increase for commercial pickups for our dumpsters. We're also proposing a dumpster lock fee increase from $25 to $40 per lock. It's not really explained in the memo, but this isn't just for the cost of the lock. This is to retrofit the commercial dumpsters with locking hasps, provides the lock, and then also, we have to unlock and then relock that every time we dump it. But if it ever gets damaged over the course of the year, we go and repair it at no cost to our commercial customers. So Public Works recommends the approval of Council Resolution number 33, Series 2017. If Council chooses to follow the recommendation of staff, Council can approve said resolution establishing refuse collection rates for the City of Cortez to be effective January 1st, 2018.
Any questions, Council?
I have none.
May I have a motion, please?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution number 33, Series 2017, establishing, I'll get it one of these days, refuse collection rates for the City of Cortez to be effective January 1st, 2018.
Second.
Carlson.
Aye.
McLaughlin. Aye. Archbeck.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Keel,
Aye.
Sheik.
Aye. Resolution number WE-2017-1, Series 2017, water rate and water development charges. Phil?
Just when we start to get a flow on the resolution numbers, we'll throw in some letters. As you're all aware, we had a couple of discussions about the water enterprise rates. You had asked me to provide you all with rate increases from 10 to 12.5 and 15%. It was determined that we would recommend the 10% increase based on our discussions and the fiscal health of the enterprise. So we're proposing a 10% increase, which would increase the minimum or the base rate from $19.80 per month to $21.80 per month for our residential customers, and increase the per 1,000 gallon charge from $2.65 to $2.92, and that will be after the first 1,000 gallons that's included in the base charge. We'd also be increasing the commercial water dock at the same rate from $15 to $16.50 per 1,000, and also the other different rate classes that are on the attached rate sheet would go up by 10%. Accordingly, the tap fees that are broken down by rate class and size, in-city and out-of-city, would go up by 10% also. Public Works recommends the approval of Water Enterprise Resolution number WE-2017-1. If council chooses to follow the recommendation of staff, council, acting as the governing body of the City of Cortez Water Enterprise, can make the motion to approve Water Enterprise Resolution number WE-2017-1, Series 2017, establishing the water rate charges and water development charges for the City of Cortez Water Enterprise to be effective January 1, 2018.
Are there any questions, council, or comments? May I have a motion?
Make a motion approving resolution number WE-2017-1, Series 2017, approving the water rates, charges, and water development changes for the City of Cortez Water Enterprise to be effective January 1st, 2018.
Second.
Keel.
Aye.
McLaughlin. Aye. Lucero.
Aye.
Archbeck.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
All right, resolution number WE-2017-2, Series 2017. Kathy Moss. Oh,
Honorable
she's
Mayor,
not- are you going to?
Honorable Mayor and City Council, I volunteered to fill in for Kathy,
Okay.
so if you bear with me.
Thanks, Rick.
Ordinance 1138, Series 2010, established the City of Cortez Water Enterprise. Section 6 of the ordinance requires that City Council, as board of the City of Cortez Water Enterprise, shall adopt an annual budget separate from the city general budget. Ordinance number 1235, Series 2017, adopts a budget for the water enterprise in the amount of $3,898,512. Ordinance 1234, Series 2017, adopts a revised budget for the City of Cortez Water Enterprise in the amount of $3,608,161. City Council, through the approval of this resolution, is fulfilling their obligation as a board of the City of Cortez Water Enterprise. The below on your chart, you have what those amounts break down to by year, and the recommendation is approval of WE 2017-2, Series 2017.
All right, council, any questions?
I have none.
All right, may I have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve resolution number WE-2017-1, Series 2017, approving the annual budget for the City of Cortez Water Enterprise for the year 2018 and adopting the revised budget for the year 2017.
Second.
McLaughlin.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
Archbeck.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye. All right, resolution number HE-2017-1, Series 2017, the hydroelectric plant. Rick?
Honorable Mayor and City Council, this is very similar to the last one except for the hydroelectric enterprise. In 2009, City Council passed the ordinance number 1132, Series 2009, establishing the City of Cortez Hydroelectric Power Enterprise. And again, Section 6 of this ordinance requires the City Council as board of the Hydroelectric Power Enterprise shall adopt an annual budget separate from the general fund budget. Ordinance 1235, Series 2017, drops the budget for the hydroelectric plant in the amount of $142,897. Ordinance 1234, Series 2017, adopts the revised budget for the hydroelectric plant in the amount of $142,897. City Council, through the approval of this resolution, is fulfilling their obligation as a board of the Cortez Hydroelectric Power Enterprise.
Any questions?
I always feel that this hydroelectric is something I should know more about, and I've been versed on it, but it's never in the front of my mind. Are we at the point where we're looking at being at least, kind of solvent in this within the next 10 years?
You mean as far as our return on investment?
Exactly.
Yeah, but I think we're maybe a decade away from ROI.
Decade away?
Yeah.
So from a mechanical standpoint, how much in that next decade are we going to have to put into this? Meaning, parts and services, are they coming up for?
Well, no, we had the hydroelectric plant evaluated the year before last, and it's sound.
Okay.
The mechanics are good. We have worked with a lot of electronics and circuitry, obviously, for load balancing, et cetera. And you might see some small failures on that end, but it's in really good shape. So
yeah,
I don't
there's
think
there's really very few moving parts, right? I mean, there's not a whole lot that can really go
As long
wrong.
as water's flowing through it.
That's right.
I got that part down.
Yeah, and we could, even though there's not a lot to
That's the most
see.
important part.
Anytime, if council would like to go up to the plant, we have it up next to our water plant. And, to the extent anybody here would be interested in it, we'd love to give you a tour of it and just kind of show you the ins and outs.
Yeah, it's nice to just have some clarification, because, like so many things, it slips my mind sometimes, like, oh yeah, we have this in place, and it's good to know in a decade that, it'll be a good return on investment. Sure.
All right, may I have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution number HE 2017-1, Series 2017, approving the annual budget and revised budget for the Hydroelectric Power Enterprise, acting as the governing body of the Hydroelectric Power Enterprise.
Second.
Keel.
Aye.
Carlson. Aye. Archibek.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
McLaughlin. Aye. Cheek.
Aye. All right, the Cortez Sanitation District Water Billing Consumption Information Agreement, Shane.
Your Honor, so the city has been providing meter data to the Cortez Sanitation District since 2016 and through a 2-year agreement. And so our current agreement expires in a couple weeks. Staff sat down, specifically Phil Johnson and I met with Jan Nelson in October to go over the agreement, and we discussed any changes. From our end, from city staff's end, we thought that an incremental increase in our billing data was warranted. And so we had talked to Jan about a 10% increase, or taking that up to $1,100 per year. She was open to this. Her board actually approved this agreement last night. And so staff is recommending that the council authorize the mayor to sign the water billing consumption information agreement between the city and the sanitation district.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? May I have a motion?
Make a motion authorizing the mayor to sign the water billing and consumption information agreement between the city of Cortez and sanitation district.
Second?
Lucero.
Aye.
McLaughlin. Aye. Carlson. Aye. Archibek.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Cheek.
Aye. All right, payment of invoices through 2017. Rick,
City Council, as you're
did she tell you about that one?
No.
Well, and I can do it.
Okay.
It's
Well,
so as council knows, we canceled the second meeting of the year. The city likes to kind of clear out our books and our invoices through the end of the year, and I know our vendors, especially around the holidays, likes to get paid timely as well. So this is historically, we've asked you to authorize staff to basically pay all these invoices, and so because we're skipping that next expenditure list, and then staff will give you the list of everything that's been paid at our first meeting in January.
Are there any questions, council?
Nope.
All right, may I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the payment of outstanding invoices through December 31st, 2017.
Second.
Archibald.
Aye.
Carlson.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Lucero.
Aye.
McLaughlin. Aye. Sheik.
Aye. All right, 2017 fiber to the home feasibility and business case study, Rick.
Last but not least,
I was thinking that same thing.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, during a prior workshop, it was approved to proceed with fiber to the home feasibility and business case study. This study will include a high-level design and design review of our current stuff, and to develop accurate cost estimates so they can develop the feasibility and business case. Options for operations and open access versus single provider will be developed for consideration. We sent out an RFP and received responses back on October 27th. We had 5 companies, out-of-town engineering firms respond. We had a review committee, and we shortlisted those to 3 firms for on-site interviews and questions. These on-site interviews and questions was held on November 30th, and the following is an overview. Finley Engineering, $56,000, HR Green, $62,000, Magellan Advisors, $64,000. After the formal interviews, the review committee met and we discussed the various pros and cons of all of the firms. And I'd have to say that all 3 firms were very strong in engineering, but the decision really came down to who we felt could provide the best feasibility and business case for the city of Cortez. So we agreed that Finley Engineering with CCG was the partnership that we would like to recommend to City Council. Also, they had a little different approach. They requested that they go through the basic feasibility study and see where those numbers lead before they recommend going to a scientific survey of anything. So there may be an additional cost down the road for a scientific survey if the numbers warrant it.
Right, well, and I would just add, Rick, I think all 3 firms that we interviewed all felt strongly that we should have a scientific survey, that we should really go out and talk to the public once we kind of get our business case done. Just a different approach. 2 of them really had that kind of on the front end, and Finley was more, like Rick said, kind of after the study. But I think everybody should anticipate that because we have a $75,000 budget, we're asking you to award $56,000 tonight, that the staff is going to come back probably April, May, after they've done this work, and recommend that we do a study kind of based on that business case.
Did HR Green and Magellan have that front-loaded monetarily?
No.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So that would have been extra with them too?
It would have been, that's my memory, that
Okay.
it wasn't included. They recommended it, but it wasn't included. But I'd also say, even though that Finley ended up being the least expensive of the 3, that really didn't dictate our decision. I mean, because we just felt like this is going to be the case study for our fiber project, and we really want it to work. So they just happened to be the low amount, but that really wasn't what drove our decision at all.
Gotcha.
It really boiled down to partnership with CCG and their approach to the feasibility and the options. They have an extensive experience in that, and their methodology was kind of stood out above the rest on the business case side.
Yeah, when we're broaching this type of thing, it's, the feeling of comfort's pretty important.
Right.
Paramount, really.
Do we have any timeline as to when they think they'll be in a position to make a recommendation here?
As far as getting started and so forth?
Well, getting started, but then actually at the point where they can come to us and say, this is what we think you should do, or
Were they
no.
120 days? Is that right? 90 to 120 days?
Basically, that's why we're doing this now, so that we get them under contract and they can hit the ground running 1st of January. So we're expecting, probably 90, 120 days, have in front of City Council a pretty robust business case to discuss.
Okay, good, good.
And that is part of their cost structures, that, you know, how many times they'll be in the city, and one of them is definitely having that, like, kind of last full day here. Make sure they're meeting with council workshop and explaining to you folks,
Okay.
you know, what they've come up with.
Okay. This has been a long process. Okay. All right, if there are no other questions, may I have a motion?
Honorable Mayor, I make a motion to award the 2017 FTTH feasibility study to Finley Engineering and CCG at the proposed amount of $56,000, and allow for an add-on survey if the preliminary study warrants.
Second.
Thank you.
Archibald?
Aye.
Keel?
Aye.
Carlson?
Aye.
McLaughlin?
Aye.
Lucero? Sheik?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh,
I was going to say, I didn't hear you.
Aye.
okay, Orly said aye and I said aye.
Very good, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
And Phil.
All right, we have no draft resolutions or ordinances, no other items of business, and actually no citizens to really speak to the council unless one of you three would like to. Put you on the hot spot there. There is no city attorney's report, but I'm sure Shane has something.
Yes, Your Honor. Just one thing I want to announce to council, that we just received notice today that the city received the Recycling Resources Economic Opportunity, or the RREO mini grant, for $25,000 to purchase our new recycling truck. So thanks a lot to Phil and to Colby and to Chris Burkett. They all played a key part in really putting that together. And already, we just adopted the budget. It already looks a little bit better, folks. We're already.
What do we do with the old one? We sell it?
Well, we're
Okay,
planning on
we reuse
repurposing
it.
the body and putting it on a trailer and selling the chassis.
Gotcha.
So we can have a towable drop-off recycling center for events, you know, et cetera.
There you go. Good idea.
Possible park structure in City Park. So we'll.
Hey,
Only if the Arts Council
we got a
approves.
nice committee now. Turn them loose, give them a blowtorch. See what happens.
I guarantee you my boys could still break it. You put a steel structure, they could break that thing if you give them 90 minutes. So
Yeah, but
that's
we're
all I've got,
interested
Your
in the
Honor.
decorative aspect, the
Yeah.
sculptural significance. Okay. Is that all? Is
Yes,
that
Your
all?
Honor.
Okay. City Council Committee reports, I know,
I gave that one last week.
oh, was that last time? Lost track. Did anybody go to a meeting that they need to report on? Okay, in that case, we had a presentation of the workshop this evening by Lori Knudsen. She is on the programming subcommittee for Rural Philanthropy Days, which will be held here in Cortez in September of 2018. And she came to just kind of give City Council a little bit of background information about what RPD is and to ask for money. So, yeah. And then we had the opportunity to interview all of the applicants for, that were interested in serving on the Public Arts Committee. We actually had slots for 7, but we had 8 applicants, which is always nice. So we did that, and of course you got to hear the outcome of that. And then we spent the remainder of the workshop in executive session for the discussion of a personnel matter. I would like to say that one of the really nice highlights of the last meeting of the year is that staff provides the meal for City Council, and they did an outstanding job. They outdid themselves this evening. It was delicious. So on behalf of council, I would like to thank staff for that. And just for the fact that they put themselves out to do that. That's extra work on their part, so.
I'd like to
Most appreciated.
thank the city for everything you guys do. It's pretty incredible. I feel blessed to live here and see how much work is put in. And, so thank you guys.
Yeah, great
Thanks
staff.
to everyone at the city. And all of you, happy holidays.
Yes, yes. So does anybody have anything else for the good of the city?
It's all good.
All
Let's
right.
go home and have a merry.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Those are some.